Every now and then, someone hits the jackpot with auto purchases on Copart. Someone like this pro restorer from Belarus Customs who snagged this scrapped BMW motorcycle from the auction platform. Thrilled with excitement, he rolled the bike onto the haul truck like a treasure hunter displaying his latest discovery. But once he got a proper look at it, reality immediately set in. The bike was in way worse shape than expected. Battered, broken, and a massive challenge even for a pro like him. Make no mistake though, this guy isn't new to the game. With over 20,000 followers and 4.8 million views, he's taken on many crazy restorations. But can he bring this wreck back to life? Normally when you buy a salvage bike, it is expected that it will come with some defects. But this R1200GS isn't just suffering from mere defects. It's marred by several mechanical and non-mechanical issues. The rear indicator is broken, the BMW emblem is missing, and the speedometer is nowhere to be found. On top of that, the windshield is literally gone, and the entire bike is covered in scratches and dents. Also, the battery housing is completely empty and the engine wouldn't even start. That sounds like a lot of issues to solve if you ask me, but let's hope the restorer has got what it takes to knock them off. Here's the bike making a grand arrival at the workshop, meaning it's to get down to the business of restoration. Ideally, most restorations start with a full-scale teardown, but this restorer had a different idea. Instead of diving straight into disassembly, he did something different. He unveiled a few key parts he had already lined up for the project. A brand new speedometer, a fresh engine cover, and a valve cover seal. That's a genius move because there's nothing worse than being halfway through a restoration and realizing you're missing something crucial. Well, now that these essentials are in hand, it's finally time to get to work. First, he installed the speedometer and battery. The former responded at once, flashing warning signals everywhere. But when the restorer tried to ignite the engine, the response was a mild and short-lived clicking sound. Right there and then, he knew that a mini teardown was necessary. Starting on the right side, he loosened the crash bar reinforcement and got to work on the engine. As expected, he found many deficiencies and a few damaged parts. Some required repairs while others required replacement. But before tackling those, he made a quick move to the front, ripping out the last remnants of the shattered windshield and swapping it for a brand new one. With that sorted, it was time to get back to the engine. So far, the restorer has been super professional, but that professionalism is about to be tested extensively as he navigates the next phase of the restoration. First, he cleaned all the detached parts and drained the engine oil. More repairs and installations followed. With the sprocket getting special attention. At this point, he was confident he had done enough to fire it up. And guess what? He was spot on. With the engine up and running, there was no time to waste. So, without hesitation, the Restore tore into the second crash bar reinforcement, ripping it off in seconds. And before you could blink, he'd already jumped to the front, uninstalling more components. Keeping up that same relentless energy, he swapped out the front light bulb, patched up the rear indicator lights with glue, and installed a side carriage. Then it was time for another engine test, this time outside the confines of the workshop. Things were about to get real. For the umpteenth time in restoration, the engine came alive, but the bike wasn't roadworthy just yet. Originally, he intended to focus on improving the bike's aesthetic. However, he had some unfinished business with the engine and seat that needed quick attention. With the seat finally sorted, it was time to build a custom rack for the trunk. Here's the Restore mounting the trunk on the rack. And as you can see, it's a perfect fit. Every edge, angle, and alignment was spot on, ensuring it sat seamlessly with the bike's overall stance. Unfortunately, things were not the same on the opposite side, with the fender, side cover, and many other components around the front end of the bike riddled with scratches of all kinds. The Restore immediately understood the assignment. He yanked off all affected components, and sure enough, he found even more damage. But that's no problem. Like a true perfectionist, he moved around the front end, fixing every damaged part. But just when he thought he had everything under control, another problem popped up. Somehow the windshield he installed earlier had developed a fault. After running a check, he traced the problem to a broken mount. And while fixing that, he spotted yet another issue: the front light shield had shifted slightly. Both had to be addressed. With those front-end fixes out of the way, it was time for a game-changing addition: 2 brand-new side trunks. Now the bike was starting to take shape, but it was still missing a few key details, specifically crash bar reinforcement. The transformation was beginning to hit home right now, but the Restorer wasn't quite done. He wanted to go the extra mile. The frame and windshield weren't left out as well. With every part fixed, polished, and perfected, this incredible transformation was officially done. Now all that's left is the ultimate test, taking it out for a real-world ride. But before that, let's take a quick dive into the history of the BMW R1200GS. The legacy of BMW's GS motorcycles was established many decades ago in the early 80s. It all started back in 1980 when the R80 GS hit the market. a rugged two-wheeler built to conquer any terrain. Over the years, the GS name became synonymous with elegance and performance. But if there's one model that truly stands out, it's the R1200GS. Just like the first-gen GS, this beast packs a 1700cc boxer engine and dual-purpose capabilities, making it the ultimate choice for off-road adventurers and daily riders alike. All right, enough of the history lesson. Let's get back to the workshop and check on the restoration progress. A few moments ago, I mentioned that the restoration was done. Well, I was wrong, because the restorer still had a few things to fix. This restoration has been one wild ride, packed with unexpected challenges, but thanks to this dedicated craftsman from Belarus Customs, those challenges have been resolved. He's done absolutely amazing work with this project. And because of him, this R1200GS now lives to ride another day. Well, not yet, because the BMW logo by the side and the protection of the front light shield were missing. This ultimately led to another round of frantic and painstaking restorations. It took time, but in the end, everything was fixed, and the BMW R1200GS was officially road-ready, provided there were no last-minute surprises. This is the moment of truth we've been waiting for all day. Well, we didn't see the restorer ignite the engine on camera, but we did see him cruising down the street. And to me, that's more than enough proof that this restoration wasn't just successful. It exceeded expectations. What do you think? Did this restorer nail this project? Or was there something he could have done differently? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out other interesting restoration videos on the channel.